morning, everybody. Welcome back to another video of doing the SRT-4 engine build. This is video 2 of the head. We are now putting the cams on. Cams are going to go on. Cam caps are going to go on. We got all our stuff. We got our lube. We got all our torque wrenches. We got our preps for the good lighting. We have the head is installed from the previous video. So now I'm going to put my lash adjusters, put the rockers back on. They're sitting and lubed up. Once that's on, I already pre-cleaned the head already, so you don't have to worry about that. But once that's installed, the lash adjusters and the rockers, then we'll get started to this. All right, guys. Now I got my lash adjusters and my rockers in there. Once you put them in with oil, let them soak. Give them like a squirt and everything.
That's what she said.
Every single one of them, it's supposed to help prime the lash adjusters a little bit. So now we're pretty much ready to put on the cam. So remember, when you took off the cam, put it in the exact same place it's supposed to go on. Same thing with the other side of the cam, so the right and left. This is going to be the right, this is going to be the left. This is going to be the cam side, like that cam sprocket side, and this is going to be the transmission side, just FYI. You can tell by the cam sprockets here where they're going to go in with the cam seals, and obviously you're not going to have that over here. So just and the head itself will say right and left, and just keep in mind that every cam cap is numbered per specific place, and put them in a specific place. So now we're going to lube up our cams with some assembly lube. You can use whatever assembly lube you want, and then just start lubing up the lobes and just set it there in place correctly, and then we'll start putting the cam caps on as well. Also, make sure that the engine is not at top dead center, that none of the cylinders up here are on top dead center. So make sure they're kind of halfway in, halfway out. So there's, according to FSM, that's what you're supposed to do. Make sure that they're not at top dead center. Now we got to put our cams in. The cam caps are 2, 3, 4, 5. Same thing with the exhaust, 2, 3, 4, 5. I didn't mention this, but this is the exhaust cam, and this is the intake cam. The intake cam is going to have a thread in the back here. Can I see it? And the thread back here for the magnet for the cam position sensor. So I believe that's what it is. Pretty sure that's what it is. So exhaust side, intake side. Now we're going to put our cams. Our cam caps are 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure again that these are machined per the cam caps in the head. So wherever you took them out of, you got to put them back in the right place where you took them out of. Hence, we'll have them laying down in this position. So now we have to lube up the cams, lube up the caps again. Do 2, 3, 4, 5 on the exhaust. I did clean out the journals before any of this. So I cleaned out the journals on the head and the caps themselves to make sure that there's no problems with it. And there's no debris on there. So this is all just stuff that I'm obviously using a lot of lube, because the worst thing for an engine when you first rebuild it is the first initial startup, so don't hesitate on putting a bunch of lube on there. This will help it so that you don't score anything and no dirt and debris is in there, and it keeps it from the metals. If you're going to have an engine that sits for a minute, it's going to have it from rusting of anything else. So now we just installed our cam caps 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5 on our exhaust and our intake. Wipe a little of this flavor off right there. It's all right. Okay, guys, we tightened up all the, well, we put on all the caps, lubed them up. I even put on 6 because I forgot to tell you about 6. You got to lube up 6 and put it on the caps as well. These are all 8mm heads, and then you got your 10mm on the ends right here. And then I think the 2 here, and then there's two 10s and 1 8 here. So we're going to take our 8mm bolts and just start snugging these down. We're not torquing anything just yet. We will, but I'll tell you the torque spec soon as I start snugging these down. Also, when you snug them down, just try to equally snug them down just for the moment, because there is a torque spec, which I'll show you here, that you have to torque them down a specific sequence, but we're not there just yet. We got to torque them down to 105, but not yet. Also, put a little bit of blue Loctite on the ends of the caps just to make sure it's a safety measure. Make sure that with high horsepower engines or anything of track use of anything like that, it's good just as a safety precaution. I'm going to put a little bit on every single one of the end bolts to make sure that we don't have that problem down the road. Okay, all the cam caps are snug in. They're not torqued, but they're all snugged in. So now we're going to start to torque them down to, I believe, 105, 105 inch-pounds. Okay, 105 inch-pounds, and we're going to set it to the specific torque setting that it has on the FSM. Alright guys, all our 2 through 6 cams, the middle cams are all in place except the last one. That's all torqued down. Everything is torqued down to spec. Now we're going to do the main caps on the front of the cam gear and the one cam cap in the back where I believe the camshaft position sensor is going to be at. Now you have to use a little bit of anaerobic sealant and I'm gonna put it on. But it's basically where it tells you here. It tells you in the diagram where you got to put it on. It's most likely gonna be here and here, so that obviously you get a good seal. So I'll put that on and I'll show you guys. All right, so the first cam cap, you're gonna see where the anaerobic seal has to be generally around this area, and then you start to put it in there. We could always clean out the excess. You know me, I like to put a little extra just because it's a little flavor, that's all. And then for this cam cap, I'll show you where to put that in there. On this cam cap, that's where they want you to put it, on the edges right here. Can't see sometimes. On the edges right there and over here. Now that we put the Mopar sealant in there, now we have to put the bolts in with a little bit of blue Loctite and torque 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to 250 inch-pounds. $250 inch-pounds. All right, guys, 250 inch-pounds, 250 inch-pounds, 250, 250, 250, 250, and then I believe that was the 105 that we were doing initially with the small caps. So 105 and then 250. And we're going to check them again.
On this part of the video, guys, I'm just installing the cam seals. I'm installing them dry without any lube or oil, and I'm using a 34mm axle socket. It fits right over the axle seals equally, so there's no tearing it or nothing like that. So just make sure you pound into it, you know, a little bit of pressure here and there. Make sure it goes circular in there equally, and the axle seals will, you know, won't have a problem with it leaking, so you should be good to go.
We're good for now, guys. We got this taken care of. The next video will be all the timing component stuff that we have here. So stay tuned for that video. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. We still got more stuff happening and we got more stuff coming. So I appreciate all the love and support. Thank you guys so much for everything, and you guys have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.